This is AAFD TV, the official streaming TV show for the American Association of Franchisees and Dealers, whose mission is to help our members achieve total quality franchising. Let's get today's show started.
Welcome to AAFD TV, the official streaming show of the American Association of Franchisees and Dealers. I'm Cory Mosley, your host for today's show, and I'm thrilled to have you with us. To kick off the first episode of AAFD TV, I'll be doing a quick check-in with Rich Stroney, CEO and Chairman of the Board of Trustees, who will share his vision for AAFD TV. Plus, you'll hear from AAFD's Chief Development Officer, Amy Mancuso. But first, let's take a look at some recent industry news. Positive developments in franchise legislation. There's encouraging news on the franchise legislation front. Last week, New Mexico State Senator Joshua A. Sanchez introduced the Deceptive Franchise Practices Act, a bill that the American Association of Franchisees and Dealers is fully supporting. This legislation would significantly strengthen protections for New Mexico franchisees, ensuring that terminations and non-renewals can only occur for good cause and with proper notice. It also reinforces territorial rights by prohibiting franchisors from establishing competing outlets within an exclusive territory. Additionally, the bill limits supply chain exclusivity and restricts the amount of rebates a franchisor can retain. Importantly, it prevents unfair discrimination among franchisees and safeguards the rights of surviving heirs to continue ownership of a franchise. Modeled after Indiana law, this bill represents a major victory for franchisees in New Mexico. Meanwhile, the AAFD is also engaged in franchise legislation in Maryland. The proposed bill includes positive provisions such as freedom of association protections and the creation of a pilot program to streamline franchise registration. However, a problematic provision in the bill would severely limit franchisees' ability to file lawsuits against franchisors located in Maryland for disclosure violations. Because of this provision, the AAFD opposes the bill unless it's removed. These legislative efforts highlight the ongoing battle for fairer franchise regulation, with both promising advances and potential setbacks. Visit aafd.org to stay up to date on all the latest news and information. Rich Stroney, CEO and Chairman of the Board of Trustees at AAFD, took a moment from his busy schedule to help kick off AAFD TV by sharing his thoughts and vision for the program. Take a look. So, Rich, as we kick off AAFD TV, I thought it'd be great to have you share with our audience what the goal or mission of AAFD TV is as you see it.
Yeah, Cory, I think there's two parts to that. First, for our members, right? We really want to bring them that current real-time news, any updates within the industry, and other information that's relevant or important within franchising, but in a way that's easy for them to access. So they don't have to look at emails that we're all overwhelmed with. It becomes an easily accessible resource for them. And then the other side of it is our sponsors and our partners. You know, our goal is to give them the opportunity to promote their products and services, provide that higher level of engagement so they're getting the value through our members. And we also want to make sure that they can gear any special promotions or savings that might remain evergreen on the AAFD platform. So it creates the opportunity for both sides of our stakeholders.
I'm figuring the legislative, information plays a role here too, yes?
Absolutely. And I think that goes into what our members can really expect from the AAFD TV, which is first from the legislative and industry experts, right? Getting to do more personal interviews and news stories that we can share on their behalf. But also, again, that compelling and relevant information made accessible, right? So that we can expand our reach, expand our footprint. It's not just our members that can access this. It's any franchisee and or franchisors that might find this information helpful for them.
Yeah. Well, certainly the smart way to engage and leverage video. I'm excited to be here working with you as well. Rich, thanks for taking the time to share some information with us today.
And thank you, Cory. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. I'll see you soon.
Be well.
AAFD's Chief Development Officer, Amy Mancuso, joined me recently to share her thoughts on AAFD TV and provide a preview of some of the great content and insights that will be coming up in future episodes. Here's that conversation. So, Amy, it's great to have you here today. Let's kind of jump right in. How do you envision AAFD TV supporting the growth and development of franchisee association?
So we think AAFD TV can be a very powerful source to support the growth and development of franchise associations by providing education, advocacy, and a sense of community among franchisee owners. So we want to do this through industry expert interviews, news, industry news, best practice sharing, and giving a platform for franchisees to be empowered and giving them all the knowledge and tools that they're going to need to be successful within their associations.
Well, those sound like certainly great priorities there. Now, when you think about, the impact of AAFD TV, strengthening connections, and really, how do you see that working together to create that strength, between the association itself and, of course, the members? Maybe take that a little step further for us.
So our goal is to spotlight successful franchise associations so that we can showcase their strategies and the things that they're doing to ensure that they're having a mutually profitable and beneficial relationship with their franchisor, talking about how they're using their strategies and tactics for perhaps contract negotiations, and things that are, the issues that they're dealing with their franchisor. And we're feeling that having an interactive forum for those live discussions with franchise association members and industry experts will really give another level of knowledge to the franchise community as a whole.
When we think about this and the impact of video and education, so many things move so fast in your world. When you think about the strategies here, what are some of the strategies that you'll be using and the plan to use to ensure AAFD TV stays relevant and really, valuable to franchisee communities for the long term?
Mm-hmm. Great question. And I think one of the biggest things is going to be having very specific member-driven content. So we want to make sure that the content that we're providing is not only relevant and timely, but it's interesting and important to our members. And we're going to maintain keeping that level of engagement through interactive surveys and forums with our members and franchise community as a whole to make sure that we are constantly providing that level of content that's going to be important to them. We also are going to be using this platform to interview industry experts and have thought leadership opportunities. So whether you are a successful franchise association, legal experts, industry experts, we want to bring all of those people here to AAFD TV to build content and provide timely and important information that is really going to be helpful to our franchise community as a whole. So those are like some of the key elements in order to, try to keep this live and fresh and also staying ahead of the technology. I mean, this is a great platform as an addition to some of the other things that the AAFD does with social media, but this is taking it to another level. And I think it's really showing our commitment, not just to our AAFD members, but casting that wider net to the franchise community as a whole.
Okay, so, this is our launch episode here. People love teasers. They love previews. Why don't you go ahead and share just some of the things because we've got some great interviews on the way. Why don't you give people a little preview so we ensure they come back for all of the episodes to come?
Well, I won't want to give too much away, but we are going to be hearing from some of our very well-known attorneys that we work with that are really viewed as, top franchise attorneys in the country. I think you're all going to know who that is. So we're going to be interviewing different law firms that are going to share some expertise from their lens on legal issues with franchising. We're also going to be hearing from some of our supporting members, some of our key branded partners that work with us that are really trying to help franchisees on an individual business level expand their business and grow. We also are going to be speaking with franchise advocacy experts. So not just Keith Miller, who is our Director of Legislative Affairs, who is a wealth of knowledge and is well known in the industry. But we also have relationships with other industry experts in the legislative industry that are going to come on. They'll be sharing live feeds with us as things are happening in Washington, D.C. So we want to make sure that those types of things that we're doing are going to be able to give AAFD members and the franchise community live real-time updates on the things that are impacting their business.
Wow, I like how you weave through there without giving it all away. I love that. Now we've talked about the value proposition for members. My last question, I think, is: will you use AAFD TV as a platform to also connect with franchisors?
Yes, we are. So while franchisees are really our primary constituents, if you will, and we are advocating for franchisees every single day, franchisors are also a very important part of this process. So we're going to use this platform we want to showcase franchisors who are doing it right, who are sharing and learning also from franchisees on how to create that mutually successful relationship, that they as franchisors are implementing best practices in collaboration with their franchisees so that they themselves are being viewed as a brand that franchisees are proud and want to be part of. We also want to learn from franchisors about the things that we're hearing from them on things that maybe franchisees need to understand, or how we can be more collaborative in our efforts. So working with the franchisors, we do feel is a really important part. And we also have programs in place where franchisors will have the ability to earn our AAFD seal, which is a process that they would go through that demonstrates that they are for fair franchising. And it empowers them as a brand, and it also gives them a higher level of visibility and almost likability in the franchise community.
Wow. I am super excited to be a part of this. Great times and some great times and good times at AAFD to come. Amy Mancuso, Chief Development Officer, thank you for taking the time to share some insights with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, that does it for today's show. Thanks for watching, and be sure to share this episode with your industry friends, partners, and colleagues. I'm Cory Mosley for AAFD TV, and I'll see you next time.